I request our host to give access to Mr. K. Gangadhar.
Well, thank you so much, Mr. Adnan, for a wonderful beginning, and it is really a blessed day. I'm thankful to IMA for providing this opportunity, especially conducting this very, very important webinar on topics which everybody is concerned about. Today, as we know, that everybody is associated with school, and that is either a student, not a teacher alone. Even as a parent, everybody has to remain connected to the school. So in this regard, very important topics you have chosen, because all are bothered about various other issues because of pandemic, and there is really a big question mark in everybody's mind whether the schools should really on, colleges should on, universities should go on, and the education must go on in this time. And on the top of that, Indian government also has brought a new education policy. Well, you are educating the society on a very relevant topics, and I'm thankful for giving a very important topic to me. Being from the education industry, I understand that this topic is a concern for everybody, and it is my pleasure to throw light on this topic and bring everybody together in understanding why and how the education must go on in this time. Well, let me start sharing my screen now. Hope everybody can hear me. Yes, Mr. Adnan, am I
Yes,
audible?
yes,
Yeah.
absolutely clear.
Well. Good afternoon and Assalamu alaikum. Once again, I welcome everybody on this very important topic today, 11th September, and the webinar organized by IMA, the Indian Muslim Association. Well, why the need of this topic has come today? We all know this is only because of this pandemic and its very, very adverse impact on the entire world. Especially the most affected industry is the school industry or the education industry, because maybe you will say, no, sir, it is not education industry. The aviation industry is badly affected, or other businesses are affected, or health industry are affected. But let me tell you why education industry, because everybody has association with education. Everybody does not need to travel abroad, or is not connected with aviation, or everybody is not connected with business, or everybody does not need to go so frequently to the hospitals. But education industry is the one which is everybody is connected with. Not only students and teachers, as I said earlier, but also as parents, everybody is associated. And that is why everybody is receiving a setback of this pandemic in their families, especially our young ones, the kids which are going to school are badly affected, not only because their schools are closed down. Unfortunately, our kids have to remain indoors, and they have to remain an isolated life, live in isolated life. So in this lockdown period, this is very unnatural to their age, that they have to remain isolated to the houses and lose most important thing which they love always are the friends and the playing. And when they are in these houses under lockdown situation, what kind of atmosphere we are providing to them? Well, we are under huge pressure as elders. Parents are losing jobs or losing businesses. And in this kind of disturbed family atmosphere, it is again more adversely affecting our kids. And in this kind of atmosphere, when we are supposed to take care of their health, their emotional health is affected, which will in turn affect their physical health also. So all of a sudden, we never had our all attention shifted to the health, and children had never understood that they had to be so protected because of these kind of vulnerable diseases or the pandemic. And children today are experiencing huge pressure from the parents that you should take care of your health, you should wear a mask, you should wash your hands, use the sanitizer, which is very unusual for children. And poor children always are dependent on elders for all this kind of care. Children being so tender, we always love to care them. But in this time, I know parents are finding it difficult, and even teachers are not able to reach them out. So understand the kind of situation that children are going through. They must remain healthy and they must remain engaged. They must remain in an open environment, and they must play and mix with friends. All that has been cut off due to this pandemic. And on the top of that, there are no resources around them for engaging themselves. What is most actually affecting is nobody knows when this pandemic is going to end. So this kind of uncertainty is very painful. And in this time, if we do not provide them a platform for education, you can imagine how would our children live in the four walls of houses. If somebody would ask me, what is the most painful thing for you? And I know all of you would agree with me that the most painful thing is to wait for something. And at present, the whole world is waiting for this pandemic to get over. And when nobody is aware when this will get over, spending time in waiting for this pandemic and then to start the school or then to do something, it's very, very painful. Rather, it's important that instead of waiting and experiencing the pain of waiting, we engage ourselves in something productive. And there comes a role of we all elders and educators in the family. We know the most important thing for us is to protect our health and to protect the health of our kids. But in order to protect their health, they must remain emotionally healthy. To keep them emotionally healthy, we must have good and happy family atmosphere. I don't know, Mr. Adnan, if you notice somebody is writing on the screen or some kind of disturbance is there. If you can please take care of that. Well,
Sure.
yeah. Well, so my important appeal to you all is that as elders, because I know many parents have joined here and most of the teachers are also maybe here. So the most important thing is that how we can keep children emotionally engaged in this time. We have to provide them some platform and to keep them busy in learning. And in order to, because we cannot provide them any kind of recreational activities at this point of time. We cannot send them out, we cannot send them to the parks, we cannot send them to play. So what kind of, and always we are always critical about, and of course we are right, we cannot ask them to engage themselves on virtual games and all those things, gadgets, which we were always critical about these things. But at present, these things have become only option for them to engage with. And we have to take the advantages of technology in this time. So that is why how we can turn all these gadgets and this virtual platform for their benefit. Luckily, we have been able to change all our education or bring in all our education system on this virtual platform. And these platforms we must welcome. We know that we have many issues, as I said earlier, that the elders have issues like job problems are there, businesses are getting lost. But these elderly issues must be kept away from children. If we tell them about our problems, that what you are doing, you must engage yourself in something. Mommy may say, beta, you should keep quiet. Papa is under pressure. and you should not disturb your papa. This kind of things or this kind of talk is quite natural in these days. But where will children go for their counseling, or where will children find solace into this time of boredom or depression? I know for sure that many students in these days have started writing poetry on depression or isolation, on this kind of topics. And if we do not provide early hand of helping hand to them, to counsel and to provide them right platform for productive activities, definitely it will be very difficult for our children to remain mentally healthy. And if they are not mentally healthy, this will affect their physical health, which we do not want to. So let us turn this time into opportunities for growth and development. Any kind of time is there always for testing our resources and our abilities, how we can overcome those challenges. At present, when we are coming across this kind of challenges, and our children are going through this kind of adverse situation of education, when we are not providing them right platform for getting themselves educated, we will be, I'm sorry, but I should say we will be committing sin, because this time lost is not going to come back. And we must apply our mind in finding in what way we can always find the resources and find the options in order to engage our children and keep themselves learning day by day. So there are many virtual options, and I know technologically our kids sometimes know better than us what kind of options they can engage themselves better in learning, and because they are born in this digital era, so they are very smart, and we must provide them freedom in order to use this technology productively and get themselves educated. Let us help them so that we can always get rewarded for their benefits, and we can always look forward for their growth and development. So this is how we can always help them in their tasks, and we can do our role as educators. I would like to further inform you that when we are going through this kind of scenario, and when everybody is feeling this kind of challenge, the question is arising on everybody's mind that how and why the education must go on. Now I am coming to the important topic, or the part of my speech, that learning must go on in this challenging time. Dear parents and fellow brothers, I would like to inform you well that children's age is age for education. You know, in earlier time, children used to go to Gurukul system when they were, or they used to go away from the, in India, there was Gurukul system, you know. And when the child would become of 8 or 9 years of age, when the children were, becoming 8 or 9 years of age, at that time, children used to go to Gurukul system for education. Exclusively, they used to go for education to their gurus or teachers. And even in India, at present, you find, and all over the world, there are plenty of residential schools where children exclusively go for education. Because as God has divided man's life into different kinds of duties, you know that in childhood, education is the most important stage for everybody. And this is the age, in the language of computer, I should say to you that this is the age of input for them. Whatever input you would provide to the child till the age of 21, which is actually an age for us to get graduate. So whatever input you are providing to the child till the age of 21, or if you say up to PG or maybe even doctorate up to 25, up to 25, the child must spend all his or her life in acquiring knowledge and getting educated. So if what kind of input is provided to the child during this age, that will determine the output when the child will become a citizen and will start giving back to the society as a productive or a professional in the career. So that is why we cannot afford wasting any kind of time in this age for children from gaining knowledge. You know the correlation between input and output. So more we give the input, or constantly we engage ourselves in providing input to the children, more productivity of output will be there from them. And what kind of input we give to the system, the same kind of output is generated. Similarly, what kind of input we'll be giving to the children, the same kind of output they will be able to. Now, we are giving, in this challenging time, we are giving input to the children to learn through these virtual platforms. Now they are becoming technologically smart, and they will be able to probably do their work technologically or digitally smart when they grow. And that will be probably the need of the time in their age. So that is why the kind of input that we are giving, it is as per the time they are facing, and that will prepare themselves for all their future challenges. We avoid giving them input, we avoid giving them education, then it will affect the output when they grow. They will not have much productivity. That is why learning should not stop, because children's mind is not like a tabula rasa. It is not an empty slate. Children have vast capacity to grasp knowledge and to develop themselves. If you do not, you all know that there is a saying, empty mind is devil's workshop. If you don't engage children into any activity or any kind of productive work, then it is not applicable only to the children, it's applicable to all of us, that empty mind is devil's workshop. And that is why we must ourselves keep engaged. But because we elders have huge responsibilities and we have no time to remain empty, that is why we don't turn into devil. But of course, children, and if we do that, definitely our mind will also become more mischievous. Similarly, children also need to keep engaged. If we don't keep them engaged, they will become more mischievous. And that is why we have to keep them engaged, and education is the most important activity to keep them engaged. If there is no task for them, at present our fear is that, okay, they cannot become mischievous in the houses as much as they can be outside. But at the same time, our fear is that if they are not kept engaged in the houses, then definitely this kind of boredom or this kind of isolation, this kind of depression, this kind of lack of engagement which their minds highly needs in this time may lead to various emotional and mental problems for them. And it will also affect their health. As I told you that some children have started writing poetry on depression and this kind of things. Enough attention must be given from the elders and parents so that they remain busy and they enjoy their time. So that is why their mind must be kept engaged all the time. And after all, you all know that we are preparing our kids for the future challenges. When we are preparing our kids for the future challenges, we know that the scientific advancement is taking place in the manner of digitalization of the world. And in this time, if we do not keep our children ready to shake the hands with the new technology and the new virtual world which they will be dealing with all the time, then we will be actually, what I should say, destroying their development if we do not prepare themselves for this kind of future challenges which they will have to live with. And that is why let us prepare our children to shake hands with technology, shake hand with virtual world, shake hand with the time which they will have to live with. And then we will be assured that yes, our children are ready. When they will grow, come what may the situation, our children will be able to deal with those things. Today, when we talk about literacy, it is not only about reading and writing. Today, the literacy means actually, if you are able to handle the smartphone, if you are able to handle the laptop, if you are able to join on Zoom for a meeting, if you are able to communicate on a virtual platform, this is going to be a new definition of literacy. And when we are engaging our children through this platform for the education, I'm sure that this time has, in disguise, has become an opportunity for them to prepare themselves for the future world. And learning is a continuous process. No halt in the learning can be afforded, because as I told you that as much as possible input you give to the children in this age, that will determine the output in their future life. That is why it is very important for us that we keep our children engaged all the time in learning. I know people maintain their diaries. At the end of the day, they think and they recall and they write what they have done. People write their goals and check whether how much they have accomplished. Even the companies have targets. The children have set children have their set targets. Everything is working as per the vision and mission that people are planning about. And every child must also have a vision and mission that at the end of each day, what I have learned new. When you grow, if there are some students attending, I would like to inform you that when we elders do some work, we have certain deadlines to meet. We have certain tasks to accomplish. All people who do either businesses or they do jobs, they have on daily basis certain tasks to accomplish. Similarly, you kids also have certain, your teachers have certain lessons to complete. You have certain lessons to learn. But are you maintaining that hard and fast that my day is exclusively for learning? As I told you that your age is only for input or for learning. Are you maintaining a diary, or are you recalling at the end of the day that what have I learned today? Something new. Have I learned something new today? What was that? If I haven't learned anything today, my day was waste in a student's life. A day, if there is no production in the company, that day is waste for the company. If there is no learning for a day, that day is a waste for students' life. And that is why learning must be continued. It's a continuous process. If you do not keep yourselves just like a machine, if we don't keep it greased and oiled all the time, it will start making noise. Similarly, if you do not keep yourselves engaged in learning, your ability to learn will start making noise for you. You will not be able to concentrate and you will not be able to recall, and your interest also will be affected. That is why it is very important for you to keep yourselves engaged and keep learning every day. And at this point of time, as I told you that everybody's attention is towards health. We are all concerned about children's health because their age is very tender age. But how can we keep ourselves healthy? Of course, if you ask a doctor, doctor will say, okay, take proper diet. If you ask a physiotherapist or something, doctor will also say to you that, okay, you must do certain exercises every day. If you ask a counselor, the counselor will inform you, you must express yourselves well and meet some people or make some friends. But if you ask me today, in today's time, how you can keep yourselves healthy, I will say that keep yourselves engaged. Don't watch any news about COVID. Don't think about when COVID is going to end. The virus is doing as per its nature, it's doing its course. We must do our course as per our nature. And if we engage ourselves in routine activities, then definitely those thoughts will not bother us. That pain of waiting for the vaccine will not bother us, and we will not have wasted this time. We will have rather turned this time into opportunities, as I told you earlier. So, in order to remain emotionally healthy, mentally healthy, and physically healthy, we must, and to keep our family also healthy, we must keep ourselves mentally engaged in productive activities. This time is very precious. It is not that wheel of the time is always keeps rotating. It does not stop for anybody, or it does not stop ever. And this 1 year, if you say that, okay, 1 year, we assume that this pandemic will consume 1 year of ours in all regular activities. If this 1 year, if we sit idle and wait, okay, let the pandemic get over and then I will see what I should do or what I will learn, the pandemic is not going to reward you one more year in your life, or neither the nature, almighty nature, is not going to give you one more year in your life, that okay, you lost 1 year in pandemic, take this gift of 1 year from me. That is why you must not waste your day or a second, and must utilize our time for the productive activities, because that, time lost will never come back again. These are all simple things. I don't need to tell you, you have heard right from childhood. And that is why the importance of time management is learned by those who are only utilizing their time by every second. It's the nature of time. Time goes on, we must also go on. And today I say, the education also must go on. As I told you, that virus is acting as per its nature, and we must act as per our nature. There is very renowned poet in English, John Milton. He has written one poem which I like very much on his blindness. And he was blind, but he had a talent of writing poetry. And on his blindness, he has written in that poem, "Why should I keep writing poetry in spite of my blindness? Because although God has taken away my eyesight, but he has not taken away my talent. And if I do not use my talent of writing poetry, God as taskmaster will certainly question me that I gave you talent, but you did not utilize your talent. Rather, you just spent your time in grumbling or in grievances of not having eyesight." And the poet is so renowned. He has written a beautiful poetry called Paradise Lost. So, dear students and parents, my request to you is that God has probably, okay, let us say that this virus has come, but this virus has not taken our time from us. This virus has not taken our technology from us. This virus has not taken away our daily course from us. We are very much free to do our activities in a routine manner. Of course, there will be some restriction or there will be some divergence. But when the road is closed, we take a diversion and we move ahead. We don't stop. Similarly, when today this pandemic has arrived, world tried to halt for some time, and we experienced that pain. And those who kept on moving, today, if you experience all over the world, certain countries have done the lockdown, certain countries have not done the lockdown, certain countries have imposed some curfew, certain countries have not done. And if somebody will analyze this today, people have realized that despite all these kind of restrictions put on, of course, those could help in reducing the speed of spread of pandemic, which was very important. But at the same time, those who went in a little relaxed manner, nothing has affected much to them. So similarly, when we are going with the course of time, the virus has not taken everything from us. When we continue doing our tasks or duties in a routine manner, we will definitely be gainers at the end of the day. And I would like to tell you, I was still giving you example of John Milton. It's a beautiful example for everybody to remember that God has given me a talent and I must utilize it. Similarly, God has given us time and we must utilize it. God has given us Zoom, we must utilize it, and we are utilizing it today for webinar, and we are utilizing it for our education also. So if virus has come, we have 10 other things in our hand to find the ways and continue our activities. And as I told you that we must do our duties. Let me give you one example. On the bank of the river, once a saint was found picking up the scorpion to save its life. And because the scorpion was in the pond of the water, the saint thought that this is a real example. I'll tell you the name of the saint also later. The saint was trying to save the life of this scorpion. Every time the saint will pick up that scorpion, the scorpion will sting him and he will take his hand back. Again, he thought the scorpion would drown or the scorpion would die. He would again go and touch the scorpion and try to remove it. 10 times the scorpion stung the saint, still he was trying his best to save the scorpion. A passerby was surprised. He was watching it and he asked him, "The scorpion is stinging you again and again. Gentleman, why are you trying to save the scorpion? It is stinging you. It's not getting saved from you." The saint replied, "My dear brother, it is in the nature of the scorpion to sting, but it is in my nature to save the scorpion, which will die if I don't save it." So similarly, what I want to tell you is that we must continue doing our duties that will reflect our character and that will reflect our law of nature. Because we elders, teachers, educators, everybody, and we as students also, must continue doing our duties of learning, imparting education, and continuing our activities. Because we must not get affected by the scorpion-like virus, which is trying to sting us from all around. And we should not say, oh, it will sting, so I must keep quiet and I must not do anything, because we must do our duty. Scorpion was doing its duty, the saint was doing his duty. Similarly, we must continue doing our duties despite whatever is the time. And we must show the spirit that, yes, we are moving ahead, come what may. That is the spirit. Because no time can stop us, no time can beat us, and no time can change us. We are the ones who have to move ahead with the time. We are the ones who have to overcome the challenging time, and we are the ones who have to learn to live with the time. That is why this spirit, those who have shown this spirit to live with the time, you must have seen these people have always been successful in their lives. And hence, education must go on, learning must go on, unaffected by all this kind of atmosphere around or disturbances which are causing us. Because this is good for our health, this is good for families' health, this is good for children's future, and this will also show our spirit of fighting with the time, which everyone must show. Today, when children are not able to go to school, I know parents have to give a lot of time at home to educate or to sit beside their kids. And they have to do this double job because they are going to their jobs also. And then after coming from jobs, they will have to spend some time with the kids, especially smaller kids. As far as grown-up kids are concerned, there is no much worry. And I should say that every parent wanted, every teacher wanted the child to become a self-learner. Our education philosophy also actually wants us to make children as self-learners. But we have always kept them pampering rather, or we have always kept them what in other words people say spoon feeding. But in this time of pandemic, there is no scope for pampering, there is no scope for spoon feeding. Children, our dear children, are learning to learn on themselves now. They are sitting with the gadget, they are paying attention to the teacher, and they are becoming self-learners. What an achievement! Won't you feel that this is a blessing in disguise, or this is the best thing which has happened for children as learners, that they are trying to learn themselves, they become self-reliant in this time of pandemic. And as every father wants that the child should become independent sooner, so that the father will feel relieved of having the child grown up successfully and live independently. Similarly, every teacher also wants, every parent also wants the child to learn independently, so that the child will be able to conquer the whole world if the child is able to learn on his or her own. And today, this kind of pandemic has given opportunity to our children to learn on themselves, but only if the learning is continued. And that is why I'm talking to you today on learning must go on. If we are learning continuously, come what may, in all times, in all challenging situations, definitely our ability to learn will also increase. Because learning in a time which is very favorable and conducive will make you a weak learner, because you can learn only in that particular situation then. But today, the pandemic has prepared you to learn in a different situation, and those who are coping with this and those who are successfully learning in this situation, we must pat them and appreciate them, that they have learned to live with the time, and they will be a best learner tomorrow. They will be able to take benefit from, even when the schools will start normally, they will be able to learn independently from the digital platforms. Because today digital platforms are getting in every house familiar, and children are becoming more and more acquainted with this usage, and this will make them make their future studies easier. Till now we always felt that you can find answer to any question on Google, but children never took a trouble of going on Google and finding the answer. But today the situation has forced them, and this situation will hopefully, and it must remain, not the pandemic should remain, but this kind of habit should remain with the children to learn. learn continuously. And that is why we should say learning must go on in come what may in this today's situation also. And the satisfaction at the end of the day to the child will be that I can learn on my own. I have learned on my own. That satisfaction, children, or I must tell to the parents, is far more than the satisfaction that the child will get to ready-made knowledge acquired from any other external source. Ultimately, the child's benefit will be to learn on his or her own. Let me tell you, at this point of time, even we are saying that this has not affected anything, and I must tell you that as a principal, I must tell you frankly that we have not seen any adverse impact on admissions. We have not seen any adverse impact on our attendance, and we are still receiving the same response for the admissions and attendance. It means that nothing has stopped. The spirit of education or acquiring knowledge is continued, and we appreciate society, parents, all students for continuing their spirit. So ICSK is continuing its efforts in the similar direction, and I'm sure that all other schools are also continuing their efforts. This is going to be a very, very remarkable year as far as switching over from one platform to another platform for education system. And this paradigm shift will always help our future generation, because they will have prepared themselves to handle this technology, handle this time, and continue learning. That is why we say that in this pandemic time, learning must go on, which is the need of the time, which will keep them healthy, which will prepare themselves well for the future, and it will also prepare them as self-learners. How many benefits I have told you, I'm sure you will remember few of them, but at the same time, I wish that everybody lives healthy, everybody's family atmosphere remains healthy when the educational system is working on and children are kept engaged in learning. Children are kept engaged with their classes. So with this, I must wish everybody good health, and I pray that everybody acquires knowledge, children continue their learning, and I wish that IMA, when today has called me to speak on this topic, all the people who have joined this must have understood the importance of education and how we must continue our spirit of learning during this pandemic time. I'm sure that from today, those who are attending, if they show a positive atmosphere in the family for children to learn, and if they try to take the advantage of the situation for the education of the children, our purpose is served. Thank you once again, and wish you all good health. Let us hope that sooner we are able to meet even physically, as the pandemic should end and we should be able to continue our activities on both platforms. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Adnan.
Thank you so much, sir, for your kind motivational words. First and foremost, I apologize to you for the irresponsible behavior of some of the participants, and I do commend your professionalism in continuing on with the presentation. The important takeaways from this beautiful motivational talk was that all of us are pretty much in the same boat. Every industry is affected equally, and with the technological advancements, it would simply be unfair not to make use of it. We do hope this session would have answered some of your questions and brought a sense of peace and calm to the students and parents. For those who have additional questions, this is a reminder to send us your questions in the chat, and we will have them answered at the end of the event. Now, let's move on to the second half of the event. While we were still reeling from the confusion and anxiety over the online education and trying to cope up, we were hit with yet another major change to deal with in the Indian education system. For the first time in 34 years, the Union Cabinet of India approved a new educational policy 2020, and this split the citizens into three groups. One that applauds it because a change was long overdue, another that opposes it because they feel it is half-baked, But most of us probably fall into the third category, that is the one who have little or no knowledge about the policy uh, that holds and are simply curious as to what is happening. Suddenly, we see the social media floating terms like 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4 structure and questions about what kind of languages we need to learn and how many board exams would there be. Will this affect our children this year or next? In fact, what even is NEP? What purpose does it serve? And what changed since the last old policy? But most importantly, how will this policy affect the NRI students in Kuwait and elsewhere? To shed some light on these questions, we have amongst us yet another dynamic educationist, Dr. Tausif Marikeri. Dr. Tausif obtained his PhD at Bharatiya University and went on to work as a teacher at different schools. He served as the secretary and president at NGOs and was the former director of Center for Educational Research and Training, CERT India. This powerhouse of a man is currently serving as the CEO of Shaheen Group of Institutions. Let me just check if he is in. Allow me 2 seconds. I apologize due to technical difficulty. Mr. Tausif is trying to join in. Please stay tuned. We will try to get him connected again within 2 minutes. Kindly stay on the line. Well, instead of waiting for him, let's just go ahead with the question answer sessions for Mr. Gangadhar. So if anybody has any questions, we will start taking them. I will be going through the questions from the volunteers. Mr. Gangadhar, I would request you to come back online.
Yes, yes, I am online.
All right. So let me just go through the questions and I will start addressing them to you.
Is there any question?
I would request the participants to send in all their questions.
I saw one question. Anyway, Mr. Adnan, I saw one question. Somebody was asking me, how can I focus during online class as we get irritated using the device? Exactly the same thing, my dear student, somebody who has asked me. Same thing was happening with me right now. Somebody was trying to annoy me and irritate me. Initially, I was a bit disturbed, but as we have to always go on, you know, the George Eliot, T.S. Eliot, the famous English poet, was asked at the end of his life how he would summarize his life in simple one line, and he said that I would summarize my life only in 3 words, and that is life goes on. As we say,
Absolutely.
life goes on, time goes on. We say education must go on. You remember very important thing. Many people you have heard, they continued their task despite challenging time. They were amidst while doing their duties. For example, our famous cricketer, we fondly call God of Cricket, Sachin Tendulkar. He was playing his match, and during the match, he got the news of his father's demise. But at that point of time, he continued playing and won the game that was a gift from him for his father. That is what he believed, and he continued playing. So you can imagine if somebody whose father, dear father, is passing off and still he is continuing his game because he must adhere to his duty, he must fulfill his commitment. That is a great lesson for everyone to remember. When we are in any kind of situation, you may be getting annoyed, you may be getting disturbed, you may be getting irritated. All these things are quite natural to happen. But ultimately, if your eyes are fixed on your goal, then no distraction should affect you. And the test for you is to remain balanced, remain composed, and defeat all the distractions which are causing disturbances to you. That is the real test of your patience and your success. So please keep this in mind and don't allow any kind of distractions to disturb you. Then you will be successful. People who have always overcome these kind of disturbances and people who have always withstood these kind of challenging situations, these are the people whom we admire as heroes. Similarly, if you want to become hero, then you must defeat all the disturbances which are causing or which are coming in your way. I know you must have heard a small story that the great warrior and archer Arjuna was asked by his guru that what would he see when he was asked to aim along with his all fellow students. He was the only one who said that he would see only the eye of the bird, but others would see only all the branches around, fruits around, and all those things. And that is why when the people felt that why he only could become such a great warrior or such a great archer, it is because his eyes were fixed on his goal and he was not distracted by anyone. Sachin Tendulkar's eyes were fixed on his goal, he was not disturbed. There are many other examples, people who have even given their life. Our great president, former president, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, he passed away on the stage while delivering his talk. You can imagine the spirit that these people showed. Don't you think that he must have got some disturbances or he must have felt the illness during his talk? But they continued their duties, they continued their commitment, and they lived these disturbances successfully. That is why they became great heroes. So you should not allow these disturbances to cause any kind of annoyance to you, and you should not get deviated from your goal. That will make you successful.
Thank you so much.
Compared to all these things, these kind of disturbances are very small for you. Thank you.
That is very professional of you, sir. Thank you so much. Our second speaker has joined in right now, so we will continue the question answer session right after the second session. Thank you once again, sir.
Thank you.
Now, I would like to invite Dr. Tausif Madkiri to give an in-depth analysis on the National Education Policy of India. I would request the host to give access to Dr. Tausif. I request the viewers to stay online. Dr. Tausif has just joined in and is being given the access. Dr. Tausif, are you in?
Hello, Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam wa rahmatullah. Welcome, Dr. Tausif. We have been waiting for you. Glad to have you in here. I will be handing this session over to you. The mic is all yours.
Hello.
Hello, can you hear Dr. Tausif?
Assalamu alaikum. Am I audible?
Yes, you're audible, loud and clear.
Hello.
Can you hear us? I guess we are still experiencing some technical difficulties. I apologize to the viewers.
Hello.
Kindly give us 2 more minutes.
Okay, fine. Okay. देखिए पहले मैं जो सिनॉप्सिस मिला है उसके हिसाब से मैं ब्रीफली जो अपनी बातों को रखने की कोशिश करता हूँ। तो इंट्रोडक्शन है इस पूरे पॉलिसी का। ये पॉलिसी जो है एक फ्रेमवर्क देता है एजुकेशन प्रोग्रेस के लिए। तो हमारे जो पॉलिसी में सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट जो है हम लोगों को समझना है कैसे शुरू हुआ। इसका अगर हिस्ट्री आप देखते हैं तो इंडिया का फर्स्ट पॉलिसी का जो डिस्कशन है 1964 में। हेलो, ओके, आई थिंक देयर इज सम प्रॉब्लम बिकॉज someone has raised it. Okay.
We can hear you loud and clear.
Hello. Okay. So 64 to 66 जो है इंडिया में डिस्कशन शुरू हुआ। DS कोठारी साहब ये डिस्कशन स्टार्ट कर रहे थे पॉलिसी के बारे में। उसके बाद जो है 68 में फर्स्ट पॉलिसी इंडिया में आया, फर्स्ट पॉलिसी आया एजुकेशन पॉलिसी 68 में। फिर जो है 1986 में दूसरी बार एजुकेशन पॉलिसी इंडिया में बना। थर्ड टाइम उसका जो रिवीजन हुआ 1992 में और 2020 में फिर जो है अभी नया पॉलिसी न्यू एजुकेशन पॉलिसी बना है। तो ये है इसका हिस्ट्री। ओके, सो दिस इज द थर्ड टाइम we are framing this policy, and that is also after 34 years. The head of our, okay, I think there is lots of disturbances. I am getting so many messages. Okay, अभी मेरा आवाज आ रही है? कोई डिस्टर्बेंस तो नहीं है ना अभी?
नहीं, क्लियर है, नो डिस्टर्बेंसेस।
ओके, मैं सीधा जो चेंजेस है और स्ट्रक्चर जो है नया, इसके बारे में आपके सामने बात रखने की कोशिश करता हूँ। जो एजुकेशन जो स्ट्रक्चर है न्यू अकॉर्डिंग टू द न्यू एजुकेशन पॉलिसी, पहले क्या था? पहले 10+2 था। 10+2 में प्री स्कूल नहीं था। प्री स्कूल अर्ली चाइल्डहुड एजुकेशन के लिए इससे पहले भी 92 का पॉलिसी में भी उतना ही इम्पोर्टेंस था, लेकिन ये चाइल्ड एंड वुमेन एंड चाइल्ड डिपार्टमेंट के अंडर था। वो लोग उस पर आंगनवाड़ीज, बालवाड़ीज के नाम से थ्रूआउट इंडिया चल रहा था। और जो प्रिविलेज क्लास के लोगों को स्कूल्स में नर्सरी, LKG, UKG, प्री स्कूल के नाम से, there were preschools are only meant for privileged class or elite class right now, but for those marginalized, downtrodden communities, they would send their children to balwadis and anganwadis. This was previously my request in English. So I am speaking English only now. Yeah, okay, sure. So according to the new education policy, it has given lot of importance to early childhood education, that is the preschool. Earlier, preschool was not included in the education system. It was under Ministry of Child and Women Development. Now, it is under Ministry of Education. So, according to the psychologists, 3 to 8 years it is one of the very important stage of human life. Language acquisition, cognitive development, and also complete brain development takes place in this stage. I'm getting a lot of messages. Someone is saying that Hindi and someone's English. Okay, I will mix it up. I will mix it up. So 3 to 2 years is one of the very important stage of human development.
Dr. Tausif, kindly ignore the messages. We will be taking questions at the end of the session. So continue with your talk in English or Hindi. I apologize once again. There seems to be technical difficulties with Dr. Tausif's internet connection. Kindly stay on the line. We are checking with him right now. I suppose since we are trying to get in touch with Dr. Tausif, we can get back to the Q&A session with Mr. Gangadhar. Mr. Gangadhar, I would once again request you to come back online.
Yeah, I'm very much online. Please proceed. Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Yes.
One of the questions that was posted by one of the parents was that children now are spending a lot of time in front of the screen for education, and then after that, again, playing games and watching TV, and even their online courses are happening online. So is there a way to deal with this additional screen time? How can we deal with such a situation?
Well, actually, I understood the first part, but what they I mean the person wants to know is time spent on screen and
How
playing
can we
time.
reduce the time spent on screen, basically?
Well, I think since the time has forced us to spend this much time on screen, we at present, at least when we are conducting online classes, we are keeping 10 to 15 minutes gap after each of the class, so that children have some time to relax. They can go around and relax themselves. And I wish that all children, when they are learning on virtual platform, they shouldn't sit continuously for more than 1 to 1.5 hours in front of these screens, which are of course adversely affecting them. But today, if we can afford, there are various kinds of glasses available in the market wherein you can protect the blue light, you can protect the screen evil effects of the screen on your eyes, and you can also do something to maintain the health of your eyes, especially washing your eyes with body temperature water 2 or 3 times a day. You must do it when you are so much learning on screen. You should wash your eyes minimum 3 times. And there are certain kind of exercises for eyes also. You should keep your eyes closed for some time, then rub your hands and put your hands on the eyes, which we have learned in schools right from childhood. So these are the simple tips which will maintain the health of your eyes. and you must take a break also. If you're, if you are not having enough break, or at least 10 to 15 minutes break after 45 minutes lecture, then you must request your teachers for having such break. And definitely this is not going to last forever. This pandemic is going to come to an end one or the other day, and hopefully very soon. That time you can always spend, you will have to spend little time before the screen, and you will spend maximum time physically attending your classes or learning and playing and doing all these things. So this is for some time, and as we are forced to continue with this for this time, please follow these measures, especially breaks, exercises of the eyes, and wear some protective glasses for your eyes, which will maintain the health of your eyes. This is what I can say.
Thank you, sir. Another question that has been posed is, once the pandemic situation comes under control, how much do we expect the online learning to continue? Do you think we will move towards online learning, or will we get back to normal?
Well, actually, this online platform has created option for us to switch over any time for conducting classes virtually, and rather to give extra, knowledge to the students, or to students may see a completion of the course or something like that, or to complete the backlog. But however, we as education providers also have to abide by the education ministry's guidelines, and we will be able to follow exactly what the ministry will always allow us. Within the framework of ministry guidelines, we are working. So in that situation, definitely, if you see the statement from UK's health advisor, that this missing of the school is affecting children more, or causing more harm to the children than the virus can. And definitely, most of the countries have opened up their schools, and there are various options the schools are started with. Like 50% children are attending classes, or children are given option either to attend from home or from school. And gradually, this is going to probably become a trend. So option will always be available for the children in future, but once the schools will start physically, of course the attendance will be compulsory. As per the present rule, 75% attendance. If the government comes with more relaxation, and if the ministry says that okay, children can attend the school 50% from home and 50% only they can physically attend, that option, if it comes, we will be probably children. I do not know children will be happy or not. Definitely not, because at present they are missing school, and they will always love to physically spend time with friends and school. But this online system, in one sentence, if I have to answer your question, is that these virtual classes, as soon as the schools will start physically, the virtual classes will come to an end for formal teaching. They will definitely be used by the schools for continuing taking some extra classes for coaching or completion course at times. For this, this kind of situational needs, they will be utilized, but not as compulsory option. And at present, I'm in Dubai, and I'm seeing here that students are already having option to attend a few days in a week physically, and few days in a week they can attend virtually from home. So this kind of option also, if it comes in Kuwait, we welcome, and we will go as per the guidelines which will be coming from ministries. Of course, there will be very little freedom for us in deciding these things. Thank you.
All right. I think we have another question from Mr. Daud Parker, who wants to know about the face-to-face communication or skill assessment of a child in the digital learning age. Is it as effective as doing it face-to-face in a classroom?
Well, I should say, in the course of time, we must change our parameters for evaluation. We must change our, as we teachers have changed our methodology for teaching. We have changed our, the board, CBSE board has come up with different style of, advisory on syllabus, and schools have changed their methodology. Similarly, the students are also changing their style of learning. And now we should not consider our old method of evaluation as our standard method of evaluation. We have to be prepared to change ourselves in the course of time. So at present, what we are actually looking forward for children's skills, how they are able to adapt to this technology, how they are able to express themselves, how smartly they are able to keep themselves attentive even during this time of situation, and how they are able to cache the content from the teachers in whatever manner it is reaching to them. So this is what the new method or new parameters of testings have come. We are conducting now online examinations, and we have come up with certain tools of evaluation. Last time we as ICSK, we conducted various kinds of, generally we have only pen and paper test, but we now have done away with the pen and paper test, and we incorporated three kinds of tools for assessment. One was online test, one was virtual meeting with the child, and like Viva was oral examination or Zoom, and the other one was assignments and projects which children had to again submit online. So with the course of time, we should also change ourselves, and this kind of evaluation will give us different kind of perception about child's understanding or grasping. And this is what parents and children should also be ready to face new kind of tools of evaluation, which will not give us exactly the picture which we were expecting before. Now, as the platform has changed, our expectations also have changed, and you should now keep yourself ready to face this new situation and to prepare yourselves, or to to overcome this kind of situation and prove yourselves smarter in the present time. I must, Mr. Adnan, take one more minute, and I must inform everybody here that everybody thinks that intelligence means probably remembering a lot of things, or probably getting so much marks and doing, but hardly anybody knows the real definition of intelligence. Actually, intelligence means how smartly or how well you can overcome or succeed in the environment that you are living within. So your ability to succeed in the environment is your intelligence. So students' intelligence will be now measured by the ability they are showing their smartness in learning online, and how they are coping up with the online tools. So these are our parameters, and this is not our traditional expectation, or we should not now keep ourselves tied up with the traditional methods. We should be ready to go ahead with time, and now we are happy that our children are responding well. They are doing their best, and we will prepare themselves for the best. Thank you.
Beautifully said. Thank you. We have one more question here. Someone would like to know, do you think in the near future, eventually classroom education would be phased out and everything will move online? And will it be on par with classroom education?
Yeah. This online system is definitely at par with the education. Of course, we cannot replace. Initially, there is some hitch. Definitely, there will be some difficulties for coping with the situation. But we always say in English, something is better than nothing. And at present, what we have gained, we are more than our expectation. We are happy with. And at present, even children have successfully learned to adapt to this platform, and learning has taken place. Initially, when the classes were started in the month of April or May, at that time, there was some kind of resentment, whether we should really and we should not. And even we were also of double mind starting on this kind of platform, whether it would be really gainful. But in the course of time, we have found that our decision was best, and we have been able to utilize time. We have been able to prepare our children to learn, engage them in learning. And at the same time, now our children, parents, teachers, everybody, all over, I'm not talking about our school alone, all over the world, the education system has taken over a new path, and it is successfully running. So it is running because only somebody took the initiative and somebody started it. Somebody dared to walk on that path, and then now people have become accustomed to. So beginning was good, and we must appreciate and we must go on. We never know, because this will probably be the need of time, and probably we will always need to go on this kind of path.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Mr. Gangadhar. Unfortunately, we are still unable to get in touch with Dr. Tausif, so we will be concluding this session. That's all the time we have for question and answers as well. For sure, you would have a lot more questions, and you can always reach out to us through the mediums that we will be showing on the screen. I would now like to call upon Brother Imran Justnaik, the Secretary of IMA YouthWing, to offer the vote of thanks and conclude this session. Brother Imran Justnaik.
Assalamu alaikum. Am I audible, Brother Adnan?
Loud and clear.
Yes.
Great. Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Salatu wassalamu ala Rasulihil Kareem. Amma ba'd. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajeem. Assalamu alaikum and good afternoon, everyone. Hope everyone is fine and hope this session was beneficial for all of you. First of all, I would like to thank Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who gave us the opportunity to organize such an informative program. During such a difficult and pandemic situation, when the whole world is struggling, we are positively motivating ourselves and discussing over a very important topic. Alhamdulillah. Very importantly, I would like to thank the heroes of this session, Principal Gangadhar sir and Dr. Tausif Madikari, for their tremendous efforts and their time, and for all the detailed information and the motivation which they were spreading during the whole session. Thank you so much. I would like to thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you. I would like to thank the whole organizing team, all the associated wings of IMA for organizing such an informative program, which was the need of the hour. Lastly, and very important, I would like to thank all the participants, which includes parents, teachers, students, and each and every individual on this program for your precious time. You are the one who motivate us for organizing various programs which are needed by our community. So keep us motivated with your attendance, prayers, and blessings. Thank you all. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Thank you, everybody. Have a great day ahead. Thank you. God bless all. Thank you, IMA, for conducting such a beautiful webinar for the people, which is most important now.
Thank you, Mr. Gangadhar. Thank you, Brother Imran. That's all we have in store for you today. Until next time, this is Adnan.